Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today is Monday, September 21st, and I wish I could be coming to you guys under happier circumstances, but obviously if you look at this front page here from the title of this video, it is not a great time to be in the market. If you look over the course of the last 5 days or the last month, it's just we've been slammed. The S&P 500 is down about 2.7%, and then we'll break down some of these other indices as we continue this video. But before we get into it, go ahead and smash the like button if at any point you do enjoy something that you see on this channel, or if you enjoyed my videos in the past. And also subscribe to the channel as we continue our climb to 1,000 subscribers. Obviously now is the time to buckle in and stay up to date on some of your financial knowledge. So that's kind of what I hope to provide with all of these videos. So let's get right into it. Obviously the S&P 500 is down about 2.7%, 2.6, give or take. Obviously that's still horrible. A 2% gain would be fantastic. 2% loss is absolutely horrible. It was down about 1% at this point, maybe a little lower, and then obviously it's just kind of fallen off, and it wouldn't surprise me. As of the time I'm recording this video, it is about 12 o'clock, so it wouldn't surprise me if it goes lower or just stagnates out at this point. Then we look at the Dow. The Dow is down almost 1,000 points. And down about 3.4%. So the Dow is absolutely getting crushed. This could be one of those days where you see like all-time number lows. And then you look at the FTSE. If you don't know what the FTSE is, the FTSE 100 index, it is the share index of 100 companies listed on the London Stock Exchange with the highest market capitalization. So it's kind of like the S&P 500, obviously with less stocks. For the Europe and London, or whatever you want to classify it as, also down the exact same percentage as the Dow, which is very interesting to me. I wasn't expecting the Dow to match the FTSE to the same extent, especially since it doesn't always have a whole lot of exposure to Europe. But obviously, the exact same percent, and we could see the Dow go even lower, which is absolutely incredible. If you don't know what's happening, I guess I should explain what the deal is, what's going on. Essentially, Europe and countries around Europe, I don't know why I'm saying Europe, and other things like that, are talking about potentially locking down again. The virus has kind of doubled over the last course of several days. I believe it's currently doubling every 7 days. And obviously if Europe locks down, that's going to affect other areas, even though, it doesn't particularly, if you're in the U.S. watching this video, you don't directly feel an impact from that, but there is definitely an indirect impact that you can feel from a country like Europe shutting down. And also there's some banking concerns with some of the major European banking companies that have potentially broken some agreements with the United States. Those things are just alleged right now, but I'm fairly certain that they are true things that are happening. Good news is, I don't think, especially with the election coming up, obviously President Trump doesn't want the country to shut down again. I don't think the United States is going to shut down. We may potentially cancel travel again, and I think it's probably super hard to travel out of the country right now anyways, but we may enforce those rules more strictly. But for some reason, I think the United States is kind of getting better to a certain extent. Obviously there's a promise of a vaccine. Whether that's true or not, whether that's going to be safe or not, is obviously yet to be seen. But I doubt, and again, especially with the election, unless something goes horribly wrong, I don't think we're going to shut down. Unless there's a change of the guards, which won't happen until January. So it'll definitely be interesting to see these next several months, which is why when you see something like the Dow down 900 points, it's a little bit surprising, because that doesn't inherently affect us, but obviously there are going to be some offhand, some indirect issues with Europe shutting down or something like that. So again, good news is if you're in the United States, I don't think we're going to shut down again, but I guess there's always that chance. UK stocks nosedives on Mondays on concern over a report alleging banks didn't act on suspicious activity reports they sent to regulators, and on fears of tightening restrictions due to COVID-19 cases. So down 6.46%. So obviously, maybe this is just a little off at this point. In midday trade, its worst single-day performance since June 11th. The travel sector, let me pause this video real quick. The travel sector was the worst performer after the country's chief scientific advisor warned that UK's coronavirus cases could be doubling every 7 days, which is obviously, that's major news. Obviously, at this point in the game, we've seen and experienced this virus for like the last 6 or 7 months. So you never like to see a statistic like that saying that, hey, these cases are starting to double again. You really got to take precaution with something like that. And obviously, again, the travel sector, which me personally, I am invested in the travel sector. So whether, it's these airline groups, British Airways, or EasyJet or engine maker Rolls-Royce, whoever it may be, or when you look at America, you have Delta or American Airlines or whatever it may be, those things are going to be slammed. One of my favorite stocks, Carnival, actually, I'm very interested to see where they're at. CCL stock. Let's see where they're sitting at, down 7%. Yeah, it's not going to be pretty. While Carnival stock is worth more than $8 a share. Well, good work there, Motley Fool. We've all kind of known that for a while. Dang. So you see a company like Carnival, who theoretically, and obviously, they've been pretty stagnant over the last 6 months. They had a little bit of a spike there. Theoretically, should have been making a comeback. I believe they actually launched some cruises here recently. I think they had like 1 or 2 ships that are sailing again. But when you see something like this and it shuts down Europe, which will probably shut down other countries, which will probably have a massive ripple effect, they are going to be hurt. And obviously, along with those other cruise lines and any other travel-related industries, biggest widespread restrictions on movement likely to push any recovery for the airline industry even further into the future. And that concern has a domino effect on aircraft engine manufacturer Rolls-Royce. So now is a time where if you are invested in airlines or in travel or in whatever it may be, really make sure that there's a strong foundation in the company that you're invested in. Just because of the fact that they could possibly go bankrupt. Do I think a company like Delta is going to go bankrupt? No. Do I think a company like Carnival is going to go bankrupt? No, not necessarily. But it's going to be really, really tough. Food delivery company Just Eat Takeaway and supermarkets Tesco and WM Morrison are up, obviously, with increased restrictions. So that's actually interesting. I know Walmart was up today. Is Kroger up today? Kroger stock, yeah, so they're up slightly today. And I just, like I said, I don't think, I don't think the United States is going to shut down again, but that's just my personal opinion. The biggest downward impact on the FTSE 100 came from the heavily weighted banking sector. You have some of these big companies, Barclays, Standard Chartered, and HSBC, were each mentioned in BuzzFeed's report alleging banks didn't act on the suspicious activities report they filed with regulators. By law, banks aren't allowed to comment on those SAR reports. Standard Chartered and SBHC have been filed previously over anti-money laundering compliance. The Panama Papers highlights the issues of transparency and complex ownership structures with 1MDB and the Luanda leaks, exposed political corruption, what we have now witnessed with the FinCEN files is a systematic failure across the entire financial system and industry, said Rachel Woolley, Global Director of Financial Crime at financial software maker Fenerigo. So obviously, that does not help the situation, with a potential lockdown, and then you see that the financial sector has been kind of going behind people's backs, not being as trustworthy as they should be. Mark was also concerned with the impact of death of Supreme Court Associate Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, with analysts saying the political fight over succession will likely derail any chance of a new U.S. stimulus package after the election. And that I may make a separate video on her death. Obviously, that's terrible. But what is going to happen is it's just going to turn into a political argument. And it really couldn't have come at a worse time. Obviously, she couldn't control that. I'm not saying that by any means. But it's going to be a mess. It already is kind of a mess. It's a shame to see, what this country's kind of come to with everything. I mean, just respect the lady. And whoever the successor is going to be, great. Be trustworthy on it. Be honest. Be good. You don't use it as a political tool. Obviously, they're not going to listen to someone like me or someone like you. But you hate to see that. All of these things happen over a lady's death who, did a lot for this country. And obviously, whoever becomes president next, well, there's quite the voice crack for you. Whoever becomes president next is going to have wanted this chair for the Supreme Court, and obviously this will be President Trump's third nominee if he does get it to go through, which is a lot for the Supreme Court. So it's going to be very interesting to see how all this plays out. Obviously not a good look by any means for this country. So let's see if these have updated. They actually have not. I mean, we can refresh here. So the FTSE is now down the same percent. Okay, so it's still not moving. 3.17. So it's actually kind of made a rebound, if you will, very slightly. And then the S&P 500 is down 2.42%. So maybe we're seeing a little bit of a rise here, but obviously not a good day to be an investor. But maybe some good buying opportunities will arise from this. So let me know what you guys think about everything that's gone on over the weekend and, of course, on today, whether it's with the FTSE, whether it's with the Supreme Court, whether it's whatever it may be, the travel industry. Just let me know in the comment section below your opinions on some of these things. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, happy investing.